Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Crypto MA Lounge. I'm your host, Black Adam, and we have Crypto Moonshot in house today. So, without further ado, I would like to extend a warm welcome to the Crypto Moonshot team. Thank you for joining us today. We are eager to hear your stories, experiences, and insights about how this extraordinary project came to life. So, could you please introduce yourself and the team behind Crypto Moonshot? What are your past experiences in the crypto or blockchain industry that led you to start this project?
Yes, there's myself, Mr. Dip, Croissant is here as well, and Latherica. We're essentially the founding team, I suppose, within our project. The team is the community, and the community is the team. But I'll let my partners go ahead and introduce themselves first.
Loth, you want to jump in and start?
Yeah. Hi, guys. Nice to be here. Nice to meet you all. My name is Silvio, aka Loterica. I am a solution architect for digital platforms at Stefanini, and I am in charge with all the development aspects of the Cmoon project. Basically, everything from Web3 integration to blockchain development in itself.
Okay, Crescent, do you want to introduce yourself, maybe?
Yes, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I'm also one of the core members of the team. My background is in sales, marketing, business management. I've been working here in Web3 for a couple years now. I joined in about January 2021, and I'm really excited to have built an advisory company within the space with Mr. Dip. We have close to about 20 clients right now, predominantly in GameFi, but across all sectors, blockchains, et cetera. We really love working in this space, and this is our first founding project of our own, and we are really excited to be working on it. So nice to meet you all. Thank you for having us here.
Yes, and I'm Mr. Dip, or Anthony Francis. As Melanie mentioned, we own an advisory company together, and we work with Latherica on a variety of projects. So we have worked together for a while now. We've all known each other for years in this space. I myself have been in this space for several years as well. Prior to that, sales, marketing, business development is my professional background for 15 to 20 years now. In this space, been doing the same thing. Came into the space originally as a trader. Actually quit my job 2 weeks after my first investment in crypto. Had a really successful first few months, with 200x, 300x my portfolio, and then ventured into the business side of things. Obviously, having a background in sales, marketing, business development, it made sense to dive into some opportunities here, working not just investing in projects, but helping projects scale and grow. And that's kind of led us to where we're at now and launching our first project. This is the first project for the three of us. So it's really exciting to be here.
Okay, that's really an intriguing story. Okay, before we delve into the technical aspects of Crypto Moonshot, I'm curious to know that were there any specific challenges or issues within the space that inspired you to address them through this project?
Oh, that's such a great question. When we talk about challenges and inspiration for this project, if you get to the core fundamental of the project, it is the ideology of making this place a better place. Saving the BSC is a narrative we're pushing quite aggressively, but it's more than just the BSC, it's DeFi in general. And when we look at what had caused the introduction of DeFi or how it emerged as a market, it was simply due to the response from the general public towards centralized finance in the past. Centralization being, a small number of people essentially exploiting and monetizing the greater demographic. And that's what caused DeFi to emerge. And now when we look at how the space is today, it feels very reminiscent of the industries prior to DeFi and why DeFi was created. We're seeing a lot of projects, or teams, quote unquote, launch project after project after project, just pumping and dumping on people. And we're seeing incubators and marketers push the same projects over and over and over. And it just becomes this situation of like a musical chairs game where so many investors are not getting a fair opportunity. They're getting essentially wrecked, is what we'd say in the degen world. And that's not right. It really deviates away from the mantra and the ideology behind decentralization. So, with this project, we saw a lot of meme coins, meme season erupting here in 2023 again, back in April-ish. And we saw an opportunity to be able to come in and bring our professional experiences and backgrounds to operate at a professional level and focus on the community. Everybody talks about community, every team, project, marketer, community, but so rarely is there actually a community behind the words that people are spewing. Whereas with our project, we wanted to make the community the sole focus. Everything that we do is for the community. The community brings the buy power. The community brings max exposure. They bring the engagement. They bring the interaction. So why wouldn't they reap the rewards of the growth of the project? That's the way it should be. That's what the space represents. So that's kind of that fundamental ideology behind this project.
Okay, you guys have a clear vision and mission. I'm really impressed by your clear vision and mission. And yeah, I agree with you that people talk about community, but they don't normally care about community. They just show some shiny things to people before launch of the project, and after the launch, they just fill their own pockets. And the clearer vision and mission you guys have, it's really impressive. Okay, now let's dive into the technical aspects of the Cmoon short. Could you elaborate on the specific utilities of the Cmoon short token within the ecosystem, and how does it enable users to interact with the platform and benefit from its features?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we talk about the foundation of the project and how it began, we started as a meme coin. We promised very little and delivered as much as we possibly could. And that's kind of, an attitude we maintain as we progress. But everything that we're doing is co-creative and collaborative. That's why when you hop on the website, you don't see a roadmap that has a couple of bullet points say we're going to build this, build this, build this. And we see a lot of meme coins do that. And generally it's fluff. It's usually not true. It's not elaborate enough. They don't have the expertise or the resources to build the things they claim that they will. And we didn't want to do that. That's the wrong approach. So how we've started this project is focusing on technical solutions that will create value for the community. And we co-create and we collaborate together. So the first utility that has been brainstormed and then the mechanics built out by Letherica and then presented to the community. I want to emphasize that it was presented to the community first, because when we talk about building utilities, there's 3 criteria that have to be met. The community has to want it is first. So we present our ideas. The community lets us know their feedback and if they like the concept itself. And if that's the case, then we proceed with further planning. And if we have the sentiment of the community and they voted for it, then we focus on value creation for the community. Will it actually do something positive for the community? Does it make sense to do this? And if that's the case, it creates opportunity for the community to generate revenue or earn or increase the valuation of their investment or increases, engagement opportunities and exposure to the project overall, then it makes sense. And then we go to the third criteria, and that is, again, do we have the expertise and the resources to do it? Now, with first utility, we do have those. The community loved the presentation. It creates a lot of value for the community. And Letherica, fortunately enough, has built models very much like this utility that we're enacting with his job at Stefanini or his career at Stefanini. And he's done this for some massive corporations. So this first utility is a loyalty rewards program, but I'm not going to continue on. I'm going to let Letherica better discuss it. He's the one who's building out the mechanics.
Yes, thank you. So the idea of the loyalty program is we will have
You're cutting out there, brother.
Yeah, Letherica, you were muted. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now? Everything's okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Right. So I was saying the loyalty program in itself is composed of a couple of layers. First layer would be the tiers. These are allocated based on how much a wallet is holding, right, in terms of Cmoon tokens. And it has various benefits. The second layer is the referral program, where anybody can join that referral program, but based on your tiers, you get more bonuses in terms of earnings, right? So for each buy that came through the referral link, you will get a part of the taxes, right, in BNB as a reward. And also we have the NFT layer, where users will have actually access to various NFTs. One NFT series will be granted for free. They can mint it for free just to have it as proof that they are a Cmoon holder with the respective tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and so on and so forth. And the others will be a collection of NFTs which will enable merchandise purchasing, but by merchandise we are not referring to classic stuff such as t-shirts. Sure, they will be included, but we are referring to loot boxes, right? So those loot boxes will contain more items, including your own personal physical Cmoon coin, right? Which will be handmade and will contain your profile picture.
Yeah, that's really impressive. And regarding the Mr. Dip, that you said that you guys have don't have a roadmap now. Uh, I, I really agree with you because I have seen some certain projects that they follow extensive roadmaps, but unfortunately they often remove promised features shortly after launch, leaving users disappointed and frustrated. So I really agree with you that transparency and engaging the community in true manner is really impressive. And yeah, the loot boxes, the plans you guys have are really good. So re as we all know that decentralization is a core value in the crypto world. So how does Crypto Moonshot ensure decentralization and prevent centralization of power within its ecosystem? I mean, are there any governance mechanisms in place to involve the community in decision-making process as you guys are focusing on the community aspect of the space a lot more as compared to other features in this space as well.
When we talk about centralization and decentralization right now, I suppose initially, well, let's talk about the culture of it. I mean, we focus, and it's an ideological approach. It's focusing on the community sentiment and maintaining, listening to the voices of the community, having the community involved in decision making, making sure that everything we do is for the community, and everything that the community does is in turn for the community. Now, this is obviously very trust-based, right? That there's no technical integration that facilitates that just yet. And I'll dive into that in a second. And we look at the economic model. Of course, we raise in a decentralized manner. We utilized a pink sale pre-sale. We did so via a low cap raise. We did it with a whitelist model, which meant that only one wallet per contributor. We made sure that we're very scrutinous in how we allowed people to have access to the private and the public pre-sale. Nobody was allowed to have more than one wallet. Nobody was allowed to contribute more than 2 BNB. The people that got the whitelist wallets in the first tier were those that were most passionate about the community, that were as active and engaged in the community. Didn't really matter to us who they were, how much money they had, what community they happened to be a part of outside of this community, but how active and supportive were they of this community. And that was a big priority. So we made sure, and that applies to the team as well. And we all bought a pre-sale wallet in the private pre-sale. We all got a 2 BNB bag. I mean, it's straight across the board. Everybody has the exact same allocation potential at the start when we launched 2.5 weeks ago. And that was a very important aspect to maintain decentralization. We didn't give a bunch of tier 1 whitelist spots to any trading groups. We didn't make any deals with anybody. No influencers had a bunch of wallets for themselves. And us as a team didn't get token allocations. We had to buy our tokens like everybody else. So that was kind of the beginning of the technical aspect or the economic aspect. And again, when we focus on the flow and the development of the business, we focus on maintaining the community sentiment. Now, this may venture in, and we haven't really talked about this yet. We haven't presented this to the community just yet. But as we talk about the advancement of the technology and how we're going to build off of the loyalty rewards program and some of these future utilities that we're kind of planning now, putting concepts together for a presentation for the community, there may very well become a DAO-like structure. Now, we won't call it a DAO. We looked at a DAO early on, prior to the launch, and evaluated if it made sense. And the problem with a DAO is that it becomes a little too decentralized, right? Centralization builds infrastructure and it allows for efficiency. But when you have too much centralization, especially economic centralization, then it becomes very exploitative. We do believe that there's a point on the spectrum that you have to find, and it can't be too far right, it can't be too far left. It's a little to the left, but right around the middle, right? So obviously the team is entrusted by the community to make decisions, but we make the decisions based on what's best for the community. We know the general direction that we're going, but the community guides the ship. They decide the paths we take. So again, we have to present this information, but as we grow and scale, there are some opportunities for technical integrations that could make a more technically driven form of decentralization as opposed to this trust system that exists. We can make it more trustless, but that hasn't been explored just yet publicly. So this is something that's kind of on the on the forefront that we're working towards.
Okay, that's great. And inclusivity is a fundamental principle in the crypto space. So I'm curious to know that how do you guys ensure accessibility for newcomers and individuals with limited technical knowledge? I mean, are there any plans for educational resources or support for beginners to onboard them or to educate them the necessary things about the crypto space?
Yeah, actually, that's a brilliant question because that's, again, a really fundamental component of our business model. And just to set some context or kind of preface what I'm going to say, when we look at this space, especially here on the BNB chain, especially here in these Telegram communities, it's kind of a revolving door. It's a very closed off ecosystem. There's not a lot of people. It's the same investors, the same teams, the same projects over and over and over again. And again, it's a game of musical chairs. When we talk about real exponential growth, we talk about rapid expansion. And I don't mean just on the chart. I mean the community itself. We have to look to onboarding. We have to look to breaching outside of this small demographic and looking at the billions of people that haven't gotten into this crypto space yet. And that's really important within our business model. So when we look at the first utility and we talk about the referrals program, that is an opportunity for people to monetize, but also provide exposure. It incentivizes everybody to work hard to spread the word. And we want that word to spread out aside of this ecosystem towards friends, family members, coworkers, people across various platforms that aren't necessarily crypto-centric, like Facebook. These abilities to communicate through an affiliate marketing program to onboard new users is critical in terms of our flow. But we also have to have an appropriate funnel that catches these people the right way. And one thing that's a very big motif or concept within this project and community is focusing on being supportive, focusing on education. We do have a utility coming up. There will be an info hub on the website that will be associated with the loyalty rewards program. And this info hub will range in material, and people will be able to publish material themselves. Obviously, it has to be approved by the team or moderation team or administrative team, what have you. But everybody within the community is able to contribute to this information, and we encourage it. We advocate it. We want that. And we want to make sure that the information that's available ranges from the simplest of things, like what is a blockchain? How do you create a MetaMask wallet? These types of what we would consider simple, but to the new user coming into the space could be quite complex. We want to have all that information readily available, easily navigable, and not only just in written form, but in infographics, in short form video, long form video, and then linking to third-party sources to verify the information that we're claiming to be true by utilizing objective and impartial sources. So that's a really important concept within that. But that's not enough, right? Information is available on the internet already. Having it in a centralized location that is organized and structured towards what we're building is great. But people do have the ability to find this information, yet they still find the onboarding process difficult. And that's because there are just so many steps. So when we look to the onboarding process, we are looking to technical solutions as well. We want to make it fluid, we want to make it seamless, and we want to make it familiar. Another thing that you're going to see relatively soon on our website with one of these coming updates is the ability to swap right on the website. And of course, there'll be information on how to create a MetaMask, how to put funds in a wallet, how to make the swap. But we'll also have a fee and on-ramp. And we're looking to utilize these platforms that, again, are fluid, seamless, and familiar for users that are coming into the space so that it's as simple as anything else that they would do on the internet, just simply buying a product on another website. We want that type of experience. And of course, we want that to then bring them into the community where they can find the level of support, all the information is available, and they have a community full of people that actually care about them enough to share them with that information with them and guide them through learning it, guide them through the steps, and make sure that they're safe and secure in these processes.
Okay, that's really awesome. And as you all know, that partnerships can play a crucial role in the success of any project. So are there any existing or potential partnerships that you guys are exploring? And how do these partnerships enhance the value proposition for token holders?
It's another good question. Partnerships are tricky. Partnerships are absolutely huge when they have real tangible value. We look at other partnerships, especially in this space. Quite often, projects just have very superficial partnerships. They make an announcement, they run a Gleam campaign. That's the end of it. They never talk to each other again, and it really doesn't do anything to create value for anybody. That's not the type of partnership we're looking to. We're open to partnerships with essentially anybody, assuming that they meet our criteria. They share the same moral compass as us. They have the same vision. They want to improve the quality of the space. They want to create a safe ecosystem. They have to share those values that we have. And that's the first priority, of course. And then, getting back to the business model, it has to create value for our community. So we are in conversations, actually, believe it or not, with what I would consider potentially two meme coins, meme/utility, in the same way that we are. There are actually two really big projects on Ethereum right now, but we haven't discussed this publicly. We're still evaluating. We're communicating with their teams, going through those due processes to make sure we're aligned in the vision and what we want to do and make sure that we can create value for each other's communities, collaboratively, of course. Then there are some other partnerships as well on a more technical level that, again, haven't been announced, but we're exploring, obviously, technical solutions that could make our lives easier with what we're building, being able to implement white label technologies, having strategic partnerships with technical builders that can create value for our ecosystem and for our investors or our holders within our community. And of course, we start talking about exposure tools. There are some other partnerships that are in discussion also. Centralized exchanges, we have a network that accesses essentially every single centralized exchange. We work with them very closely, almost on a daily basis. And I mean, literally every exchange in the top 20. Bitmart, it will be the first centralized exchange that we do list on. They've been extremely supportive to us, offered us a great discount, offered to essentially provide support, marketing, and announcement with a simple deposit. And then again, a bunch of additional marketing services and support tools to help us scale and gain exposure. So that will be announced once we have generated enough volume to facilitate that expense. All of our centralized exchange listings are essentially milestone driven. And when we talk about centralized exchange listings, they're not just listing on an exchange. It is, again, a partnership. When we want to partner with somebody of that degree, we want to utilize their network. We don't simply want to list an exchange and provide some exit liquidity for a bunch of people. Rather, we want to focus on, now we get introduced to a new vast audience of investors. How do we target that audience? How do we introduce them to our project? How do we bring them into our community? And again, how do we create value for this project and this community? So it's a really important motif when you talk about centralized exchanges, because many don't list on them correctly and they cause more harm than good. We're very meticulous about how we approach it, and we make sure that when we do utilize these types of partnerships, again, it does good, not bad. There's about 5 or 6 others as well that we haven't really publicly discussed, because we want to get through the first one before we start discussing others. As we complete onboarding processes, you'll see them placed on our website, whether we've listed or not. If the onboarding is complete, we'll put them there, because they'll be the next one in line when we generate the appropriate amount of volume to be able to list. And in terms of other partnerships, I mean, yeah, there's quite a few. We haven't announced any yet, just to be clear. These are a lot of things that are in the works. But until it's the right time, we're not just going to push a bunch of superficial partnerships. We'll make sure that we do create value and build a real long-term, sustainable, and symbiotic relationship. Essentially, it should create benefit to both parties. Otherwise, it's not really a great business relationship.
Yeah, I really admire the approach you are talking regarding the partnerships you guys are doing. It's really impressive. And if we talk about your Cmoon token, what are the buy and sell taxes, and how these taxes will be utilized within the ecosystem?
Yeah, when we launched, we started with a 6% buy and a 9% sell. We've recently reduced it to a 3% buy and a 6% sell. Now I'll start with the original provisions so everybody understands what they were. 3% of the buy and the sell went towards obviously an operational wallet or a marketing wallet to cover marketing expenses, developmental expenses, centralized exchange listings, so on and so forth. Another 3% on the buy and sell originally went to the liquidity pool in the form of BNB, and 3% on the sell goes towards reflections in Cmoon back to the holders of the token. Now we've taken away the 3% on the buy and the sell, and that was a community vote. The 3% in terms of the liquidity provision, I should say. And the reason why we're able to do that, we had flexibility with that, was that when we launched the token, we launched with a very high liquidity pool compared to most meme coins. We wanted to make sure when we look down the road, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, we started on the right foot. And we see, with projects like Pepe, when it reached $1 billion plus market cap, it had less than, I think it was just between 1 and 1.5% of the total fully diluted market cap was available in the liquidity pool. That created obscene volatility, and essentially is very reminiscent of a Ponzi when you talk about the fact that most can't pull out the liquidity that they put in. It's not there, unfortunately. And we do have those intentions to scale and grow to that, that magnitude. We fully intend to dominate the BSC, essentially. We're here to save the BSC. So when we look forward like that, we do have to consider. So we had launched with 25% of our fully diluted market cap in the liquidity pool. There's $37.5 thousand in LP in just BNB, not including the tokens with their value. And of course, our launching market cap was 150K. So it was a very healthy pool. And on every transaction, 3% of the buys and sells were going towards that pool. And we essentially built a very thick liquidity pool, which meant that we had some flexibility in having a community vote to remove that allocation for a period of time. Now, how long hasn't been decided? That's up to the community. But we did remove that to lower the taxes. So as it stands right now, 3% of the buy and the sell go towards the operational wallet, and 3% on the sell goes back to the holders in the form of reflections.
Okay, aren't you guys already launched your Cmoon pre-sale? Wasn't on pink sale?
Yeah, we had our pre-sale on May 29th. It was a Monday, 2.5 weeks ago. We filled in 38 seconds. It was quick. We had 2 tiers, and we had essentially tried to make sure that everybody had a fair opportunity. Obviously, the first tier were the hardest workers in the community. And when we were recording everybody's wallets and the data, we asked what their predicted contribution amount was, so that we could essentially use that data to form an analysis of how many wallets to put in tier 1. And when we had reached total contribution, the subtotal of the predicted contribution amounts being 120 BNB, that was our cutoff market. So at that point, going forward, everybody else would be in tier 2. And when we had the pre-sale go live, essentially we said either after 5 minutes of the pre-sale, we'll add tier 2 wallets, or when we see 120 BNB has been contributed, we'll open up tier 2 and add the tier 2 wallets. We hit the 120 BNB with tier 1 in seconds, opened up tier 2, and we filled in 38 seconds. We went live maybe half an hour later or an hour later, 4x on the chart immediately. And then, it was a rough week in terms of volume on BNB. So that first week, we fought pretty hard, but slowly shook out, I would say, a good bit, and then got into the second week, and then we saw the reversal. And now we're doing quite well, going back upwards, and we're just seeing whales accumulate. A lot of diamond hands in the project now. We shook out anybody who was here for a quick 2, 3, or 4x. And now it's the sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, as we are running out of time, so before we get to some audience questions, is there anything that we have not covered that you would like to tell our community about?
There is so much. We're generally in our community on voice chat somewhere between 3 and 6 hours a day. We run a voice chat at 1 p.m. UTC every day. We run a voice chat at 11 p.m. UTC every day. And I mean, the community and the team are active 16, 20 hours a day. So there's a lot to discuss when we talk about this project. What I would actually just say is kind of a closing remark there is come join the community. Call to action. Just come t.me/Cmoon_coin. Ask your questions in the text chat. Hop in one of the many voice chats that we have. Feel free to ask away. We're always there to be able to answer any questions.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Unfortunately, we didn't have much time to discuss everything. But as for me, I'm really excited to have you guys in here after a few days or after a month, maybe when you guys decide to. Okay, so community members, please raise your hands for asking the questions. I can see a lot of people are still raising their hands, so let's take some community questions. So, Congressman, you're allowed to speak. Congressman, you're unmuted, brother.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. Wonderful presentation here. Now, my question is, what role do you believe community governance will play in achieving the goal of unification? And how will you involve the community in decision-making processes?
Well, in terms of the community being involved in accomplishing goals and the community being involved in decision making, we're already doing that in everything that we do. Our approach is entirely community centric. The team is the community is the team. We are obviously sitting in roles of leadership where the community trusts us to make decisions, and we have a responsibility to make the absolute best decision possible for the community. Otherwise, it doesn't go anywhere productive or successfully. Now, when we make these types of decisions, obviously there are certain points in time, like the brainstorming and building of mechanics to present to the community. We do in some way dictate the flow, but at the end of the day, the community decides whether or not what we've presented to them is what they want. And if it's not what they want, then we don't proceed. We go back to the lab, we work on something new, we come back and present another idea. That's very important. And at this point in time, that's how it exists. It's just simple communication within the community. Obviously, everything that is conducted within the community is kind of dictated by the community. Behavioral, the concepts, suggestions, and feedback are always welcomed and encouraged from the community. We're going to be opening up some feedback forms. I know we've been talking about this for a bit, and we want to have a variety of different ways in which the community can bring their suggestions, their ideas, their questions, their concerns, and either voice them publicly. Obviously, having our 2 AMAs a day is a great way for that. In the text chat is another great way, but also privately, having the ability to anonymously submit information for those that are shy or those that don't necessarily want to be perceived a certain way, but have a genuine concern or a genuine suggestion that they want to make. That's very important that feedback loop remains open and it's heard, and not only heard, in terms of on a one-to-one level, and we understand what somebody's thinking personally, but being able to look at the analytical trends. Google Forms are a great way to facilitate this, having these feedback forms where we can then look at the mass data that is submitted by a variety of people, whether anonymously or with their identity shared, being able to look at those trends, because the analytics are very important as well. We need to be able to monitor, obviously, the very personal level, but looking at the top level and understanding the overall sentiment of the community. This is very important. So that's something that will always be ongoing. And of course, when we talk about achieving the goals, well, the entire goal is community driven. We're here to save the BSC. That involves every single person in the community being a productive community member, working towards these common goals together, supporting one another, building relationships with one another. And of course, as leaders, it's our responsibility to set that culture, to come in and lead by example. And we do the best we can with that. And there are many people in our community that have also stepped up to be leaders and are leading by example. And that's what we want to maintain. As long as we have that healthy culture, there's no limitation to what we can accomplish here in this space.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate your answer, and it's a very good project you guys have here. I'll definitely jump into your TG channel to participate.
Appreciate it, brother. Great questions. Oh, I think we lost Black Adam. I'm in charge now.
The AMA has been going great. We've been answering as many questions as we have within the text chat as well. You guys have some really awesome questions. I apologize. There were so many. I know that we missed some. So any that we missed, as Mr. Dip was saying earlier, if you just join our community, we are happy to answer all of your questions there. I apologize if we did not get to them today.
Oh, you're back. Really? You're back. I was going to become the host. Oh, no, you're gone again. I'm the host again.
Really strong community here, though, with so many great questions rolling in. So, you know, kudos to you guys.
Okay, sorry guys, I got cut out. My Telegram wasn't working, so I had to restart. Okay, thank you so much for your question. And now we have Timmy. Timmy, you're allowed to speak. Timmy, you're allowed to speak.
Hello, hello guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
So my question is, if the bear market comes, will your token probably dump? Do you have any plan to prepare for this bear market? How will you handle the panic sell?
Well, I would start by answering that question with, brother, we're still in the bear market. Don't let those on social media fool you. We've been in the bear market for a while now. Now, that's not a bad thing. You know, the bear market is a great time to shake out builders. You know, when we see tokens, they go up, they go down, you shake out investors that aren't necessarily there for the long term. Bear markets shake out the pretend builders, the people that pretend to be here trying to do something seriously for the long term, because it's not profitable to them. It requires a lot of sweat equity, a lot of hard work, and the money just doesn't roll in. That's where you find the people that are building with the labor of love. It's something that's genuine to their heart and they care about. This is the time we love to build. Now, when we talk about short-term price action and we look at some of the FUD that's come to the market recently in regards to Binance and BNB, those were actually some of our strongest growth moments on the chart. Our community has rallied together. When you hop in our community, you'll notice people don't talk about the chart. They don't talk about the price. What they talk about is what we're building. They talk about each other. They talk about the community, because everybody has a real authentic relationship. When we say we're community driven, we mean we're community driven. This is not like every other community you hop in. And, you know, I always use the reference or the analogy of Soviet Russia, when everybody was afraid to speak and everybody's looking over their shoulders and everyone was paranoid. That's how many projects are in this space, especially meme coin projects. Everybody is quite paranoid. They don't have relationships. They're just looking for an opportunity to find exit liquidity and dump on somebody else's heads. That is not how the Cmoon community operates. It is actually remarkable. Watching the community come together and work every day, they grind together like nothing I've ever seen before. It is remarkable. It's like watching Cirque du Soleil or like a great symphony. It's a piece of art. Our community is outstanding. So when we talk about resiliency through the bear market, there's no need to concern ourselves. You know, we're quite confident in the holders that we have. We've seen them stand some very serious stress tests already, with BNB plummeting from $300 to $220. Our price went up, even though our paired token BNB went down almost 33%. We have gone up in value during that period of time, which is outstanding. And the community just continues to come together and work harder and harder, which only inspires us, again, to continue to work harder and harder every day so that we can provide as much value to our community as possible, because that's our obligation, especially if we consider ourselves entrepreneurs building a business here now behind this. We have that responsibility and obligation to take care of our community, and they take great care of us. So the bear market is not a fear point for us. If anything, it's an advantage, I would say.
Okay, really good project. My second question, sir.
Timmy, I'm really sorry to interrupt you because we're running out of time, and I
Okay,
like to. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much,
okay,
Timmy.
sir. Thank you, guys.
No worries. Good question.
Okay, Mr. Dip, can you pick a person whom you would like me to unmute for asking a question? Maybe you can just scroll down the list, and a lot of people are raising their hands.
Yeah, I was going to see if
Just
Tom
say
still
a
has.
name. Yeah.
Let's do Lucas Ethan. I like Lucas. I know Lucas. He joins all of our AMAs.
Yeah. Okay. Lucas, you're unmuted. Lucas, you're unmuted. You can ask your question, brother.
Hello,
Lucas, you
Black
need
Adam. I'm
to.
audible. Good evening.
Yeah, you are audible. We can hear
Hello,
you.
Mr. Deep. All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Black Adam. So my question is how do you guys intend to unify members of the fragmented DeFi community and lead them down to the path of liberation and bring the value that is being extracted from the ecosystem by the unethical individuals and organizations back to the turn of the community where it belongs?
I love that. That's from our white paper, isn't it?
Yes.
I love it. Quoting the white paper. It's a great question. When we talk about bringing together the fragmented community, look at our community already, and it starts with culture. Many of us have all met in this community. Obviously, I myself have brought friends of mine, other community members, other team members have brought friends of theirs, and we've all come together and congregated in this one place. But prior to today, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, many of us were strangers to one another. We were fragmented. We were divided. We were all investing in other projects, essentially getting, brugged and pumped and dumped and everything else that is negative in this space. And we've come together. We've come together under this ideology, this desire to save the BSC, this drive to push this movement forward and create opportunity for each other. Taking the selfishness aside, of course, we're in DeFi, and of course, people come here to make money. But that doesn't mean that you have to burn every bridge and throw every single person underneath the bus along the way. We can do this together. That's what decentralization represents. So setting the culture, building this project, and coming together as a community and co-creating and collaborating together, working together to find every opportunity to create further opportunity and further value for one another is how I think that we're doing that. I think it's a beautiful case study. It's a working model right now. You can see it. And in that, it creates liberation. We're liberating each other and ourselves from this culture that exists outside of our project, what this ecosystem looks like, how so many, I shouldn't say so many, it's a select number of individuals and organizations are essentially exploiting and monetizing everybody. When we stand up and say no to that, and we come together and we share our value structure together and work towards a common goal together, we liberate ourselves from those challenges. We can stay away from those projects and those teams and those people that are exploiting us, and we can create value for each other. It's happening right now. So how we intend to do it is through the social movement and through this project, and making sure that every decision we make is for the best for each and every one of us within this community as we focus on each other. I hope that answers your question, because that's really the approach.
Yeah, it does, Mr. Deep. I saw a second question that just came up to my head. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask, Mr. Black Adam.
Lucas, I'm really sorry. I would like to take one more question as we are running out of time. So
Okay. I'll come
much.
to the Telegram group, Mr. Deep. I have a lot of questions to ask. This is a very great project. I'm very interested in the project.
Yeah, please do, brother, because there's a lot I'd like to embellish on that answer I just gave too. But obviously,
awesome. Okay. Thank you very much, Black Adam. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, let's take one more question and then we will wrap this AMA. Okay, now let's see. A lot of people are really excited for this AMA. Okay. Okay, please do me a favor. Pick a name so I can unmute them. Okay, Mr. Dip, can you again pick a name so I can unmute him or her to ask their question?
Yeah, let's select Colgate. I used Colgate toothpaste this morning. We'll pick Colgate.
Okay, where is okay? Just a second. Let me find him. Just a second. I can't find him.
I think he just left. Actually, I saw him and then he disappeared.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find. Oh no, Colgate has just come back and raised their hand.
Okay, now let's Just a second. It's keep on changing. My list is just always okay. I still can't find him because my list is
There he is.
continuously
Back.
changing. Where is he?
It's the big red button, profile picture.
Okay, is it Colgate?
Yeah,
Yes.
Colgate.
Yeah, Colgate. Okay. Just a second.
You're lucky,
Colgate, you're
Colgate. I
allowed
thought
to
we were
speak.
gonna have to go to a new one, and I was gonna pick benzene because I am also a chemistry lover. But we'll stick with Colgate for now, I suppose.
Okay, Colgate, you are unmuted, and now you can ask your question.
Can you hear me? Hello, Black
Yeah,
Adam.
we
Can you hear
can. Yeah, we can.
me? Okay, my question here is, why you guys accomplish these goals? How do you guys intend to build a safe and transparent home for newcomers to the crypto space to learn how to safely engage in the ecosystem with all of the necessary information, tools, and resources to become well informed and successful?
You know, it starts obviously with the culture again, and I don't want to keep harping on the culture, but the culture is essentially, you know, the seed that blossoms and makes everything happen across the project. But beyond the culture of having a supportive community where people care about one another enough to take the time to walk them through, to help them with the things that they need and explain information to them, we also have the technical integrations that we're building. And the Info Hub is the core foundation of that. The Info Hub, again, I mentioned it earlier, is a utility that we'll be providing within the loyalty rewards program. It'll be on our website, and essentially like you would see with any online course or schooling program that you would see on the internet. Essentially, it will be a hub of information, and it will range from some of the most rudimentary and what we'd consider basic ourselves, but could be quite advanced for those outside of the space. Starting with that information, working its way all the way up to what would be some of the most complex information in the space that investors want to see. Of course, we're working hard to verify this information, find trustworthy, credible sources, bring it in, use our own expertise to refine it and build it out in that regard. But we're also working closely with the community, and the community will be self-publishing. They'll be sharing information as well. And they can also request in the case that they don't know the information. So if there are questions that community has, there's information that they desire, we will do our best to go find that information and have the right professional sources provide the answers to those questions, the material that's necessary. And of course, those in the community that have information want it to be shared, they think it is of value to new investors, will also include that in there. So it's a very creative, co-creative, and collaborative approach, right? And same as everything that we do here. The community, again, is the team, and the team is the community. So we work very closely to build everything together. So this information, again, is going to be all available in that regard. It'll come in a variety of fashions. It will be in written form, condensed, TLDR type of style, as well as full-fledged articles. There'll be links to third-party sources, so you can, again, verify this information outside of our ecosystem. So those that are coming in and want to have source checks, fact checks, they will have links directly to other credible sources that will share, verify this information. And then we want it to be digested in a variety of ways as well. So in written form, in short form video, in long form video, so long, extensive review videos, also very condensed, YouTube shorts and things like that, if you were to make a comparison, or TikTok videos, if you will, that style of format. Also infographics, so that people that are visual learners can digest it. Those that like to sit down and learn and listen and go through material over an extended period of time can learn and absorb the material. Those that just want quick, rapid fire information, have it readily available. Those that want to read through can read through at great length, or if they just want to condense bullet point, quick information, they can also do that. We want to make sure it's digestible in a variety of fashions for everybody that learns of a different style of learning. And of course, have it available to everybody, ranging from some of the most intermediate, or sorry, the most introductory, I should say, up through intermediate to more complex content.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Deep, for this great answer. And also thank you, Mr. Black Adam, for this great opportunity.
Okay, thank you so much, Colgate. Okay, now I think I should take one last more question. If you guys are comfortable, then we can wrap this in. Mr. Webb?
Yeah. Do you want me to select somebody?
Yeah, you can select someone, or if you allow me, so I can select.
Let's pull up Tom. Good old Tom from BSC News.
Okay, where is? Yeah, Tom BSC News. Tom, you're allowed to speak, brother.
Oh, hello, am I audible? Oh, hello, everyone. Oh, thank you. Well, firstly, thank you very much, for the very informative AMA, as always. I was just wondering, Mr. Dip, or anyone, obviously community is a very big part of the Cmoon army, and it's a very unique and special community. Even though sometimes in the chat I can be a bit of a dick, I like to think that I've made some friends there. And I was just wondering, is it going to expand out of Telegram at all? Like, sorry, I've just run up the stairs, so I'm out of breath because I never do any exercise. Like maybe, for example, to Discord, where we can, play computer games together, have different hangout voice chats, different channels where you can post about different bits and bobs. Is that something that we're going to be doing in the future, sort of expanding out of Telegram or similar to that? Thank you.
No, it's a great question, and we will absolutely be expanding outside of Telegram. The way that we are essentially modeling our expansion in terms of community platforms and social media platforms as well at this moment in time is based on demand. And that's simply due to the fact that we're at a startup stage in business. Obviously, funding is limited, or resources are limited based on what has been raised, what's being generated in terms of revenue, as well as the community size and the community members that are willing to step up and take those leadership roles to lead moderation and administration in various platforms. So as the demand comes in, we've obviously facilitated. As you can see right now on the website, we updated today and included a community page. It does actually show a variety of platforms in which we are building out right now. And some of these are community oriented, some of them are social media oriented. But in any case, they're communications tools between users that are here in this community. And as people request more, we will continue to build. Obviously, we're also expanding inside of Telegram into various international communities as they've been requested. And this is, again, how we'll continue on until we scale and grow to the point where we can invest a significant amount of allocated resources into just building everywhere, essentially, and then driving new users to those platforms. But for the time being, we focus on where the users are that want attention or want resources to be allocated to them. So yeah, I mean, we'll be building everywhere, anywhere. Whatever the community wants, the community gets. Again, everything is for the community.
Okay, sick, bro. Fantastic. Thank you. Sounds great. Yeah, I was very pleased to see that you got Vietnamese community, because that's my first language. I'm not a native English speaker. But thank you very much, Mr. Dip. Thank you very much, Brother Adam. And speak soon, everyone. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tom. Okay, as we are near the conclusion of this AMA session, so I want to express my sincere appreciation to all of you guys to join this voice call today. It was our pleasure to have you here. So please state your last words for the people who are listening to this call.
Every marketing action's got to end with a call to action, right? We're not the team.
Absolutely.
Everybody will FOMO, go buy hard, do all these crazy things. No, what we like to say is come join our community. We talk about the community a lot. We talk about how what we do is for the community. So what we request or recommend is come join the community. Come observe. Come watch what we do. See what the promises that are made are and see how they're delivered upon. Are they delivered on time? Are they delivered to the quality that they would be? Are they delivered at all? Which is a great question. You have to ask a lot of other projects. But come on in our community and see what the vibe is all about. See what the sentiment is like. You just hop into Telegram. It's t.me/Cmoon_coin. Give us a follow on Twitter to watch the community raid. Watch the piece of art that this community truly is. It's magnificent. And to come just be a part of it. And then, of course, you can make your own informed decision after you've conducted your own research and observed.
Okay, that's really good. And thank you so much for being in here. And I really express my sincere appreciation to all participants who joined us today. Your involvement and active participation have been incredibly valuable. We trust that this session has offered you a comprehensive understanding of the Cmoon short project and its various aspects. So before we wrap up, I would like to give a special acknowledgement to the Cmoon short team for their insightful responses. Mr. Jade, Chris and Lotarica, you guys were amazing. And community members, remember, this is not the end of the journey. To stay updated on the latest developments and news about Cmoon Short, be sure to follow their official channels, join their community. And once again, I extend my gratitude to all of you for enthusiastic involvement. It has been an absolute pleasure hosting this AMA session. Thank you so much, guys, for being here.
Thank you also for having us.
Yes, great AMA. Really appreciated it. Thank you.
Yeah.